Hello everybody, and welcome to Whiz, your family-friendly podcast where we discuss D&D Onslaught, Dice Masters, HeroClix, and the other entertaining games made by Whiz Kids. I'm WizDad, that cranberry sauce that is like can-shaped. You don't exactly know why I'm served at Thanksgiving, but man, am I a palate cleanser. I will be your guide for navigating the competitive and casual scenes of the Whiz Kids Triforce of gaming. It's Mashup Monday. Today we are talking all things Whiz Kids gaming. We will take a look at current sales, upcoming releases, and what I'm thankful for this holiday season. But first, as always, let's talk about the Whiz Kids Progress Report.
Kowalski, Progress Report.
As far as the Whiz Kids Progress Report goes, we do have a few things to talk about. First off, don't forget that there's honestly, we're moving on to December, and December is going to be very light as far as releases go. There's the D&D Icons Journeys through the Radiant Citadel monster box set, so if you're really into the different painted D&D miniatures, there is one more left for the end of the year, so definitely check that out. It does not have a set date in December yet, but it is still scheduled for December. Then you do have two plushes coming out, the Pathfinder Drugami Funny plush, or Punny plush. It looks like a little white tiger leopard thing. And then you have a Werp Punny plush, which looks like a construct thing of some sort. Both from Pathfinder. I don't know enough about Pathfinder to be more descriptive, I'm sorry. But you've got two plushes coming out the beginning of December. HeroClix wise, we have the Royal Flush Gang coming out on the 6th, the Play at Home kit. I've seen, or sorry, not Play at Home kit, OP Play kit. I have seen, I have heard some stores have already received them, so keep an eye out for them. They do come with, I believe, like 4 figures from the Royal Flush Gang storyline OP kit. The biggest thing you want out of there, which we'll talk about this more later in the HeroClix episode, is the Ace Legacy card. That Ace is pretty nutty, so keep an eye out for that organized play kit. And then there's also the Spider-Verse organized play kit also coming out on the 6th. This is more of the monthly OP kit. Those dials have been shown on Facebook. I'll talk about them more on Friday, but both of those HeroClix organized play kits should be hitting your store this week or next week. So keep an eye out for that. The other thing I wanted to talk about is it's kind of been radio silence as far as the erratas go for Wheels of Vengeance. Everybody has been waiting for Wheels of Vengeance erratas, and there's been nothing. There should have been some already by this point. The set has been out for 2 weeks, but I guess, it's the end of the year. Maybe there's, people are taking time off. That's probably the reason why we haven't seen anything yet. But hopefully they get the erratas out there, because there's certain figures like Daredevil that clearly need an errata and a fix, and more likely than not, they've already got those in the pipeline. They just haven't, published them yet. And then going on with Dice Masters, still mum's the word as far as the release of House of X. At this point, I think it's not happening in November, considering it's November 27th. Still have not heard back from my contact at WizKids about what's going on, but he did mention that they're kind of in the midst of, preparing for the end of the year, the beginning of the year, so, it might be a little bit before I hear back. So I will let you know if anything has changed. But at this point, I just hope that House of X doesn't fall into the same, train that Secret Wars did, where it was announced almost a year before and took a whole year to come out. I hope we get some news soon. I hope it's released. My hope is that it's released at the beginning of 2024, and that gives us enough to last for most of 2024, and then they redesign and reproduce the game, produce the game again in 2025. That's my more realistic hopes, but we will see if that comes to fruition. I'm not sure what they're still doing with Dice Masters. Clearly, Mashup Monday, I've kind of been talking about everything because there's not a ton to talk about with Dice Masters. I'm hoping, though, once things ramp up a little bit more, we get more tournaments, we'll talk about more. And speaking of tournaments, let's go over to our Fishing with WizDad segment, where I'm going to talk about some sales, some current rulings, and maybe some events that are coming up in December and January for all three events. All three events, all three games. So that way maybe you could get hyped going into 2024.
Get your gear, little man. We're going fishing. And I mean now.
So to kick things off, we'll talk about rulings. Like I mentioned in the last segment, we haven't had anything in regards to HeroClix as far as erratas or rulings. The last ruling was actually in September. There has not been anything changed, which is unusual because we have had Notorious come out and we've had Wheels of Vengeance come out, and there's been nothing. Kind of odd. I know rulings for HeroClix is a little odd. I feel like most of the time rulings come out of necessity and come around tournaments, events. If there's no events, they're a little bit more slow on the uptake when it comes to certain rulings, unless, it depends. If a ruling needs to be made, sometimes they just issue an errata and fix it. And since we're kind of behind on erratas, like I mentioned before, clearly some that are needed for Wheels of Vengeance. We do have erratas for Notorious that came out in October, but I'm hoping, this week, next week, they'll come back and they'll kind of wrap a bow on the end of the year for HeroClix when it comes to rulings and erratas. So that way going into 2024, we are ready to go, ready to kick things off. Now, that isn't to say there hasn't been other changes. For Dice Masters, once again, one of the things I love about Dice Masters so much is the fact that they are on top of things when it comes to rules questions. There has been, WizKids, the last one we've gotten for HeroClix was beginning of September. We've had 5 rulings for Dice Masters, and they have not had nearly as many changes or releases. So kudos to whoever does the rulings for Dice Masters. Way to be on top of it. I'll cover the ones in November. I don't think I've covered the ones in October, but we'll start with November. We have Rip Hunter and Corrupt. The question is, does the ability on Rip Hunter through the vanishing point, the power says, when fielded, name a non-sidekick die, replacing all previous choices. While Rip Hunter is active, when you draw the named die, you may place it in your reserve pool on any face instead of rolling it. Does that ability circumvent the placement of dice drawn with the Corrupt ability? The Corrupt ability says target player draws blank dice, place one in used, and returns the rest. Example: Rip Hunter is active in my field. I trigger Corrupt and target myself to draw dice. I draw the die I named when Rip Hunter was fielded. Do I get to place it in my reserve pool on any face? Ooh, that's a good question. The answer is no. There is no interaction between Rip Hunter's ability and the Corrupt keyword ability. Rip Hunter's ability is applied to a die drawn and rolled, usually in the clear and draw step, though there are some abilities that have you draw and roll a die outside of this step, like Atlantis Vast Kingdom. This is clearer if you were to state the ability as, when you draw the named die, instead of rolling it, you may place it in your reserve pool on any face. The Corrupt keyword ability does not require the dice drawn to be rolled. So interesting. So they were asking because when you field the die, you get to draw a named die, and when you place it in your reserve pool, instead of rolling it, you get to place it on any face. Corrupt says you just draw the dice, place it in used, and place one in used and return it. So they're asking, when you draw that die, can you still pull it on any face based off of Rip Hunter? And they're saying no, because effectively you're not rolling the die. You're just drawing it. So that's interesting. That's the cool thing I like about Dice Masters rulings is they're very, very thorough. If you did a word comparison between HeroClix and Dice Masters, you would see a lot of yes and no's when it comes to HeroClix, and a lot of thorough, explained wordings for Dice Masters. The next ruling I want to read is Ultraman and Green Kryptonite. Now, these are not cards I've played with. All of Ultraman cards trigger if a Kryptonite action die is used. Can Ultraman be triggered by a green kryptonite action die from the Superman Kryptonite Crisis set? They replied, no, Kryptonite and Green Kryptonite are two differently named title cards. Okay, so they're asking, this is clearly an older piece of Ultraman that says they're triggered for Kryptonite action die. They're asking, kind of like with HeroClix, can you replace with this character? They're asking, well, Green Kryptonite has Kryptonite in the name. Can you technically use those action die? And the ruling is no, which is correct. That opens a lot of potential issues if you you say, oh, well, because it has part of the name in there. So it's really just saving, future, protecting things from the future. I'm not going to go through the ones for October, but I do want to mention that once again, the Dice Masters rules forum is fantastic. They do cover a lot of info out here. Now, one thing you may notice if you go out to the rules forum, the one thing that is not out here is D&D Onslaught, and that is on purpose. They do not use the rules forum for D&D Onslaught related things. They use the dndonslaught.com website. And there has been some changes. There was an update on 11.20 with some changes. You could see this if you go out to the D&D Onslaught page and you go to resources. And under resources, you'll see the rules and FAQs. And under each document, you will see the last updated, date. And so the FAQ is where they kind of answer they make rulings or changes that go across everything. That's where you might see, let's see, is the stag card change out here? I can't remember. Yeah, they mentioned out here, there's erratas out here as well. So just something to note with that. For 11.20, they have made some changes, which a lot of people were new going into it, but let's talk about it a little bit. First one is, in the interest of competitive balance, Chloe Amasnodel, I don't know why I keep doing that, her inspiring token no longer adds a damage bonus. It now reads, inspiring, fading. Friendly characters at range 0 to 5 of Chloe Amasnodel gain +2 to die rolls while attacking. This was a long time coming. I think we talked about it. I may have talked about it on here, but if not, it was talked about largely at Worlds. The +1 damage bonus that she would just give from this is just suffocating. Add that in with Gribbleshanks, a lot of other characters that can attack fast and already deal a lot of damage. The fact that she just gives that additional damage to everyone really makes Harper's oppressive. Chloe just was way too good. And she's still incredibly good. The +2 to die rolls is nothing to just think, oh, that's nothing. It's significant. The damage is what's kind of set it over a little bit. So they've gotten rid of the damage. It's now just the +2 to attack rolls. Remember, hers is the one I believe that gets around. It's +2 to die rolls. So remember, hers is if you roll an 18, you add up on your d20, you're adding to the die roll, not the completed, not to the die roll plus the attack. So basically, if you roll an 18, that makes it a 20, I believe. It's her and Sedona, I believe, that have that capability, but I may be wrong. I'd have to go back and look. They also mentioned several item cards in the Maps and Monsters Nightmare of Frogmire Coven are misprinted. Here we go. Ascended Focus should have the Ankh symbol on the back. The Dragon Sinew Bow should have the drawn bow and the arrow symbol on its back. I mentioned this before. When I went through a couple weeks ago, went through the items, I said it's kind of weird that Dragon Sinew Bow has the Ankh and vice versa. Clearly they're backwards. Well, it's true. And then the back of the many-pocketed vestment should be yellow and not cursed black. Interesting. I don't know if it says cursed on it or not. I'd have to go back and look. The Bullywug's Bodyguard's Protector ability is missing the word another. It should read Protector. After an enemy at range 1 to 2 attacks another friendly mini, make an attack against that enemy. Okay. That's fine. The zombie, and then the last thing they've changed, the zombie monster behavior section of the Plague Solo scenario is incorrect. Zombies should be Initiative 3.5, not Initiative 2.5. Oh, that's interesting. So I guess that gives you one additional character to move to try to stop the zombies from taking out the innocent people. So that's interesting. But yeah, that's all on the D&D Onslaught site under resources. Now it does look like the tournament scenarios have been updated as well on the 21st. Let me take a look. I may not be able to just, blindly be able to tell what is what because, it's going to be hard for me to tell. I don't remember exactly what everything was before. But off the top of my head, it doesn't look like there's too many changes. Currently, there's still, this says version 3, 16 pages. The first scenario in the tournament scenarios is loot recovery. The second one is the horde. Which was the horde before? Yeah, I think so. Then the Etten, which I know we've had that. Then there is the rescue. I remember the rescue. That one looks to be the same. And then we have the ritual, the betrayal, which I wonder if they've done any changes to the betrayal, because I remember the betrayal being where you just kind of largely ignored the hag in the center. I'll have to do a little bit more digging into this because I didn't see that they actually made changes to this. So I'll take a look at what was put before and see what the actual changes are. The deathmatch and contention and capture, the standard ones are all still out there. So keep that in mind as well. But besides that, that's pretty much it when it comes to the changes with hero clicks, Dice Master, ruling changes, erratas, all of that. I'm glad the Chloe change has already been put into play. That makes Harper's a lot more manageable. And that's very, very useful for upcoming tournaments. But wait, WizDad, what upcoming tournaments? Well, don't forget that there is, let's see, when does that happen? Don't forget that PAX Unplugged is this coming weekend. There will be some D&D Onslaught tournaments happening at PAX Unplugged. If you go out there and look at the schedule, I think it's out there on the schedule. Let me take a look and see if there's D&D Onslaught listed. Is it under Onslaught? Maybe it's under D&D. I guess I could search the schedule. Yeah, here we go. D&D Onslaught PAX Championship Tournament. It is listed at Saturday at 12 o'clock. There is a player cap is 6. There'll be Swiss tournaments, and then there'll be basically each player, a Swiss tournament of 3 rounds. Each player will receive a Death Knight promo card, and the winner with the best record will receive an exclusive trophy and a copy of the new Frogmire Coven Maps of Monsters expansion. So that is on Saturday. So if you're in the Philadelphia area at PAX Unplugged, don't forget that there is an Onslaught tournament happening. I'm definitely not going to that. Unfortunately, PAX Unplugged is not my cup of tea necessarily, but it is. I won't be there. I essentially won't be there. I'm saving up for the next one. I think they mentioned, which might be like Gary Con or something like that. Now there's Hero Clicks going to be there as well, but it's going to be limited to the Battle Royale and Learn to Plays. They did show that basically the same pricing from Worlds is going to be at the BRs. Like the Superman, I think, is going to be there. So if you happen to be at PAX Unplugged once again, you could play in the Onslaught tournaments. You could play in the HeroClix Battle Royales. Plenty of stuff to do for Whiz kids because they will be there at PAX Unplugged. Outside of that, there's not really much going on for Onslaught. For HeroClix purposes, there is going to be a little bit more. And don't forget the Champion Clicks Open. That is in January. It's, I believe, the 3rd weekend in January. Something like that. If you haven't signed up now, you're kind of running out of time. It's been, I think most of the tickets are sold out, or at least rooms are sold out. I was originally intending to go, but financially, it's hard to do it for me with it being so close to Christmas. Even though it's a month after, I'm still financially recovering. If you have kids, you would understand that financially recovering for Christmas is it takes a month or two to really feel comfortable spending for other things. But the Champion Clicks Open, once again, I went last year. It was a great time. There's a lot of events happening. Registration officially closes for it, I believe. Should be this week or next week is when registration closes. I'll have to look again. But they are doing tournaments around the country. Not too many. They're kind of just really starting out the circuit, but they're doing circuit tournaments. I saw one in like Pennsylvania, one in I think Oklahoma, and definitely check out the Champion Clicks. I guess just around on Facebook. Problem is that they haven't really posted a ton on the Champion Clicks. Oh, here we go. Open trial. There's one at Carolina Comics on December 16th. There will be one in Redmond, Washington at Uncle's Games on December 17th. This is a Champion Clicks Open trial. And let's see what else is there as far as tournaments. There's one at the Wellsboro. Here's the Pennsylvania one. A trial at Pop's Culture Shop at Wellsboro, Pennsylvania on December 16th. And then Orc's Lair in Youngstown, Arizona. So they're kind of really hitting all corners of the U.S. with these. There's going to be one in December 16th. That seems to be the weekend. In Rainbow Cards, Comics, and Collectibles in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And I'm not seeing much else. Registration closes the 31st of December. Champion Clicks Open is definitely the next premier event coming for HeroClix. To me, the Champion Clicks Open is what kicks off the HeroClix season. You have that event at the end, I'll say the end of January. The new sets are coming out, and then we have PJ Bowling usually runs an event. There's a few more events that happen in like March, April. Then there's typically HeroClix for Huntington's that happens in May, and then we have states, and then hopefully WKOs, and then we're right back into summer. So the Champion Clicks event, for me, is the big kickoff event of the year. It's what really starts the competitive season. This competitive season for me for HeroClix is really January through, I guess, September, October, basically January through Worlds, which is fine. I understand the desire for year round, but sometimes a breather is nice. And so I like the concept of January through Worlds. Champion Clicks to Worlds being the circle of HeroClix seasons, I guess. So keep that on your radar. We don't really have any other big tournaments coming that I know of for HeroClix, but definitely check out December 16th. See if you're close to any of those places: Washington, Arizona, Carolina, South Dakota, Pennsylvania. There's, Champion Clicks trials coming up, which gets you some entry into Champion Clicks. And once again, Champion Clicks, if I didn't mention it, it is in Orlando. It's a destination city. I went last year. I had a fantastic time. It is at a cheaper hotel this time because the hotel previously was a bit expensive, but now it is in a much more affordable hotel. But David Newmark and Open House Gaming does a wonderful, wonderful job of running the event. It was a blast last year. I flew down, stayed in some people's rooms that I knew, and then I was able to have a great time playing in some 300 Modern, some Sealed, played on a bunch of BRs with some pre-release sets. So it was a great time. And so if you're able to go, I would highly suggest it. The last thing I wanted to cover in today's episode was current sales. One of the things I'm thankful for this year is that we've really been spoiled a bit by how much WizKids has been releasing with HeroClix, and even Onslaught. We've got a decent amount of releases, and D&D minis. I don't talk about minis enough on here, but having now I play D&D regularly, and having played Onslaught that uses a lot of minis, it is they are nice. So I should talk about them, I guess, a little bit more. So if you're hearing this today, hopefully you are on Monday, because it is Cyber Monday, whatever that means anymore. But there are a lot of good sales out there still left over from Black Friday. Usually most of the sales are just still the Black Friday sales ending today. Definitely go out and check them out. Some of the things I wanted to mention was Troll and Toad has a really big sale going on. They've got a lot of, Troll and Toad, one of the premier sellers for HeroClix. They don't really dabble in D&D Onslaught, and they definitely don't have any Dice Masters, but they are a perfectly fine place for HeroClix, probably the best third-party store for HeroClix, period. At least in my opinion. But their Cyber Monday sale ends tonight. They have 10% off site-wide, but they also have, I believe, some Black Friday Cyber Week stuff that ends today. I think most of them ends today. I'd have to double check. But when it comes to HeroClix specific stuff that is on sale for today, definitely go out there and check it out. They've got, they've had these gravity feeds up here forever. I feel like I wonder how much Shredder returns, like the Ninja Turtles set gravity feeds they have, because my goodness, it's been like 3 years and they keep having so many of them. Most of the stuff they have out here is older stuff, but they do have, like a Captain Carter and Carter Shield, even though she's retired. They do have Sleipnir is down to $60 out here. They have Leech for $12. They have Rick Jones, who's on sale for $40. Rick Jones being from Avengers Assembled, but he does have a legacy card. Bike Wolverine from Wheels of Vengeance is down to $79.99 from $89.99. So there's definitely some good deals out here, even for some Wheels of Vengeance stuff that just recently came out. So definitely take a look. There might be some stuff out here you're interested in. Don't forget, Silver Age is a thing. It is popular and getting even more popular. So if there's something out here you're interested in and you're like, it's not modern anymore, there's probably a place you're going to be able to play it, because Silver is still quite popular. Another place I would go if you were looking for some sort of sales, definitely check out the WizKids store itself. Currently they have 25% off site-wide, and that is through Cyber Monday. So things like the classic, I almost said classic, the Colossal Sinestro is $18.75, down from $25. You've got Disney Plus Brick is down to $112. Man, this banner is really making it hard to look at some of this. $29.99 for the new starter set, which is usually $39.99. Wheels of Vengeance brick is down to $127. That actually is a really good price. $127 for a brand new brick. Same with Notorious. The Scott Porter white shirt ones are out there for $19.99. They are not included in this sale, though. Something to keep in mind, because that's I believe I think that's still a charity figure. I'm not 100% sure. But definitely check out the WizKids site. They still have a ton of HeroClix out here, and all of them are getting hit by the 25% off. The only thing that isn't, like the Iron Man Hall of Armor, for example, that's brand new, so that doesn't count. There are some exclusions to this, so don't think you could just get something brand new. But the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday calendar isn't. And even more surprising, for $11 you could get the 3-pack of single figure displays. I still need to buy some of these, so I might actually go out here and buy them. Pretty good deals. Now, you can't get any pre-order items, are not eligible for the sale, so no, first appearance Wolverine for Iconics or the Sherlock Holmes we're getting later. But, if you're wanting to get some of these pieces out here, you know, you could do a lot worse. Now, because it is a site-wide, the other thing I would want to mention is, hey, what do you know? Dice Masters. Dice Masters is subject to the same sales. So right now, the Secret Wars countertop display is $79.92, so about $80. You can get it for $60, $59.94 on the WizKids store. That is pretty good. Same with Infinity Gauntlet, Kryptonite Crisis. So if you're wanting to hop into Dice Masters, learn the game, those are all out there, and they're for good prices. Like that's a pretty darn good price. As far as Onslaught goes, that is a great question I've just asked myself. How is Onslaught out here? One thing I will say about the WizKids store, and I'm kind of, if you can't tell, I'm kind of just going out here looking at it on my own. They do not have, they have a section for HeroClix, they have a section for Pathfinder, they have a section for Dungeons and Dragons, but they do not have a section out here specifically for Onslaught, and that really that boggles me a little bit, because you would think they would want to have their own whole section for Onslaught. Like, I have to go in now and type in Onslaught. So if anybody here is listening from the WizKids marketing, why on earth does Onslaught not have their own section out here? Like, if I want to play the game, I want to be able to go and look at it. So, they don't show sales out here. So if I want to click on, like, the Onslaught Many Arrows, yeah, right now, Many Arrows Faction Pack, normally $60, currently $44.99. That kind of gets it done. If you're interested in the game itself, typically $139.99, down to $104.99. So that's the price point people were asking for. A little bit more than $100, perfectly fine. Go out there to the WizKids store, has that for you. Same with let's see, is the Frogmire? Frogmire's down to $67. Hello, that's awesome. Fundamentals kit, Onslaught kit, they have all the expansions out here. So if you needed the faction set, you could get the faction set for Red Wizards, Many Arrows, and you can get the expansions for the Zentarum, the Harpers. Those are all out here. You can even get the Deluxe Treasure chest, which I know sounds silly. I got one as part of the package for Worlds, so I thought it was just real silly. And then I love it now. That's how I loot. All my loot tokens are in one of those, so it's been great. So check out the WizKids store right now. Cyber Monday, Black Friday, 25% off is great. The last thing I will mention for sales is the big bad. I know people don't want to hear Amazon, but believe it or not, WizKids does have a store on Amazon. If you can believe it. They have a WizKids store on Amazon where they sell stuff, and they do sell stuff a lot cheaper at times. They just do. They have their own deals on there. For example, some of their older stuff, War of Realms, typically a $150, which is like MSRP for a old brick, is $54. Like, that's not a bad price. X of Swords, $169 typically, $86 for a Cyber Monday deal. You can get even more stuff out there that are just discounted in general. Notorious is down to $118 for a brick, which is what they have on their WizKids site. So if you don't want to have to pay the shipping that you might see on the WizKids site, you could just kind of go with the Amazon. And get a brick of Spider-Man Beyond Amazing for $133. That's not bad either. They have the Thanos Snap Iconics for $25. They have some pretty decent stuff out here. And that's going to be the same for Onslaught and for Dice Masters. That basically all of their product line you can find out here on Amazon. I was a little shocked, but that's where I bought, I think, my Dark Phoenix Dice Masters is from there. So for example, currently you could go out there $114 is how much the Onslaught core game costs on Amazon, which much more reasonable price. Red Wizard's faction pack $40. Zentarum expansion still $32, but you will find better prices out here on Amazon. So definitely check it out. Now's the time to make do of the sales. For me, I try to buy singles. Obviously with Onslaught, they're kind of all singles, right? They're all kind of package deals. There's no blind boosters. But now with HeroClix, like, I don't have much of wheels, but I will be buying some singles from it that I am missing. Probably once I get closer to a tournament. The problem I have is I don't, and like a lot of people have, there's not necessarily a tournament for me close by to go to. So I'm kind of limited on that front. But I am thankful for everything that WizKids has put out this year. And you know what? I'm thankful for you guys for listening to this episode. Once again, I apologize for taking last week off. I had family in town. It was, Thanksgiving week. I took some time off of work and kind of just reset and really had a great time with my kids and a great time with family. So I am eager to get back. Wednesday, we will continue our review and look over of the Ancient Construct scenarios. And so I hope you join me on Wednesday. I'll hopefully be posting some more videos, hopefully this week, probably next week. But yeah, thanks for listening to Whiz, and I will see you guys on Wednesday. Have a great day.